I'm Luke Seerveld. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. Today I'm with DP Peter Lindsey, and we're going to talk through a job that we worked on together about 2 years ago. I think it was like March 2018. And so let's bring Peter on. Hey, Peter.
Hello.
You sheltering in place?
Absolutely.
Far away?
We did do a pretty insane grocery trip this week, but
yeah, well, you got to eat.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining me. And I know you were looking at the screen thinking like, wow, that was a long time ago. And it was. But
yes,
it's something I had in the archives. I've always wanted to do something about it. And I thought this would be an interesting way of, incorporating two memories to figure out what we were doing. So anyway, I thought maybe we could just sort of roll through it and then we can stop and start if something jumps out at us, and then we can go back and go in a little more depth to certain areas if we want.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
All right. So I'm going to roll it.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
The usual?
Yep. TGIF, right?
Oh, definitely. Got any plans this weekend?
I'm just happy to be off work.
Me too. I'm almost there. You're all set.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks. See you next time. Welcome to Big Bank. Picture ID, please.
Again?
Says I need a second ID.
Hello? Hello?
Bigger Bank, how can I help you?
I want to transfer 500 from savings to checking.
Just 4 or 5 questions to confirm your identity. What is your favorite color? Okay, I'm gonna send you a text with a unique 7-digit code. Then you read it back. I'm unable to verify your information at this time.
Representative.
Voice device behavior authenticated.
Hey, Janet. Do you want to check your balances today?
Just need to make a quick transfer.
Of course, we can do that for you right away.
Great. Yeah, the price sounds good. Buy 50 shares.
Verified and done. Anything else, Janet?
So maybe we go by location because basically this is a 2-day job, right?
Yes. Yeah. 2 days.
2 days. And so first we were in this location that was kind of like an old bank that was being ripped apart or something, or I don't even know what they're going to make it.
Yeah. I think they gave us literally a day. Like, this is the day you can shoot, and that's it. And then we're ripping everything out. Yeah.
Yeah. But what they did have was the bank teller outlines. They didn't have any of this, obviously.
Yes.
But they had that structure, and then like they were tearing out the floor in front of this. And, So art department on this.
Well, so Danielle Woods was art director and I think production designer and wardrobe, like all in one. So
everything. Yeah.
And she just, I mean, really, it's the ages was so much dependent on what she did. Like
right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So basically we were, doing these sort of steps through time, and
right.
So they had a lot on their plate, wardrobe and art department. And so here, just kind of build it up with a big key. I think originally about to go to Cinegear, and I was thinking about the Mole Richardson Fresnels, the big Fresnels, the LEDs. And so I was thinking that would have been a nice way to push light here, and so we could, give it cuts and stuff, like a levelure or something like that. But we just went with the big old M18 bounce, I think.
Well, and I think some of that, because we were talking initially, like in the 80s, like because the lights were, well, it was more camera sensitivity, but it was a lot more harder pushes. You couldn't do a soft light as easy. And so we were going to like start with harder stuff and then put heavier diffusion and bigger diffusion. And then I think that was the idea with the mole, is that we could then control that just dim brightness with dimmable rather than having to scrim it or whatever. So,
yeah. So we didn't.
Yes. Yeah. That
option warmed it a little bit, but yeah.
And
then we did some kind of a toppy thing too. It was like a 6x
Yeah, actually, now that you're saying it's coming back, Luke. So, yeah, we had something over. I think you had one of those. I think you had just got that ETC, the LED version
Yep,
of
we
the
just
Source
popped
4.
that into like an ultra balance or something.
Yep.
Yeah, so we had
So
that
I
on the
think that was,
floor.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember we had some menace arms, so I've got some B-roll of that I can show.
As the piece progresses, it's the bank industry getting less and less personal. So 1981, I think this starts. It's like everyone was happy to see you and meet you, and then and then in present day you're on the phone forever and all that. So.
What's funny, especially during these times, where we're social distancing.
Yeah.
You watch movies now, you're like, oh man, those people are way too close. But yeah, it's sort of, and then so it's interesting from that point of view too. So here, if we play it a little
Hi,
bit.
Janet.
Hi.
The usual?
Yep. TGIF, right?
Oh, definitely. Got any plans this weekend?
I'm just happy to be off work.
Me too. I'm almost there. You're all set.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks. See you next time.
One thing, definitely, like I used 8th Black Pro Mist in the 80s scenes to just give it a little bit of that glow.
What kind of Pro Mist?
8th Black Pro Mist.
8th Black, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's just a touch of diffusion in the camera, but it blooms everything in the highlights a little bit. Just gives it that kind of 80s glow,
Nice, nice. And here you're on a dolly, and we just had a little push at the beginning, right? But
yeah.
I think there was probably a longer one, but that wasn't used, or
I don't remember, honestly.
Because I thought we had a longer push.
I mean, usually everything gets cut down when you lose seconds all the time off of what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so here it's still all open.
See you next time.
And then here you see back there, that was a big old window in the background that I think when we shot this way towards him, we blocked a lot of that with big solids, but then we opened it up a little bit.
Right. Let it come through.
And this is Brian, right?
Yeah, that's production coordinator. And I think he's in like some 90s grunge outfit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of fun here.
Welcome to Big Bang. Picture ID, please.
I think this is like a piece from a drain.
Yeah.
And then this is like the plastic thing that you have on a conference desk for a mic or whatever, for plugging.
Cable management.
And then this was a big old sheet of plexi that they'd cut out or had cut. And then we grabbed it with C-stands on either end. The trick was we had difficulty with the reflections.
Yeah.
So we had to play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But we wanted some reflections.
And I think it looks like we also were reducing the hair light a little bit as it went forward in time. Like the 80s hair light felt pretty intense compared to what we're doing in this. And then
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, here, I'll play a little more.
Again?
Says I need a second ID.
Hello?
Bigger bang.
Yeah. So one thing just to call out is that the writing and acting on this was really fun. Like oftentimes in these longer form corporate videos, they're not as like witty or snappy, and that's all Cheryl Isaacson, who directed the spot.
And Lincoln Street Studio.
Yes. So yeah, Cheryl runs Lincoln Street Studios. They're out of Santa Cruz, but mainly a Bay Area company. And it was just fun. She had a lot of really cool ideas for talent. She's great working with talent. And
She's really good at talent. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So
and like, who wrote it?
She wrote it too.
She wrote it. No kidding. Well, there you go.
Yes, exactly. So it's awesome when you have kind of someone who cares for talent as much too, because then it's a really fun collaboration that way.
Yep. Yeah, and you guys work well together. Because you're always kind of give and taking, and it's nice to watch you guys, and we feel like we're in good hands.
Yeah, that's good. I first worked for Cheryl like 2000. I think. So yeah, it's like 11 years we've been working together. So
wow. Yeah. Well, you can tell. I mean, because
yeah,
there's a lot of just sort of you already know what the other one's thinking, and
yes.
I'm sure that can be a problem sometimes if you think you know what they're thinking. But
yeah.
When
No,
it works, it works great.
Yeah, for the most part, it's great. Like anytime you work with a director for the first time, one of the hardest parts as a DP is just understanding what they want and what their tastes are and aesthetics. And sometimes you don't fully line up. So you're almost playing psychologist on that first job with a new director, So when you've worked with someone for as long as we have, it's nice to, that whole beginning part of the relationship is, it's way well established. So.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so on a job like this, where the client is giving a lot of rein, really. I mean, it's not an agency telling, giving you a script and all that kind of stuff. So
right.
When you have that much control over a job, how much were you talking with Cheryl as the director beforehand?
Yeah. I think on this one especially, she gave me some homework. I think, like, watch this movie from the 80s, watch this movie from the 90s, and kind of giving me some visual language to communicate with her. Yep. So, something like this, there's definitely a little bit more groundwork than another job. Yeah. But also when it's this way and there's not a big agency, then you don't often have the budget to pull off the idea that you want,
right.
Right. So it's kind of that give and take of like, you definitely have to do your homework on it, but some things just aren't possible because the budget's not there. So,
and that's where you're leaning on art department.
Yes.
Often as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Cheryl often builds sort of a mood board too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her pre-production communication is always great. So, and she was her studio did graphic design back when I met her, like early 2000s, and that's all. Yeah, that comes through in all of her pre-production.
She has kind of an art department person's mind,
exactly.
Creative director's mind. Yeah,
exactly.
So that comes through. Yeah, and the whole team has worked together on a lot of jobs, so that's fun too. It's sort of like getting together with the home team. So then this was at a different location, another day.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like open area that we made into cubicle land.
How can I help you?
Yes.
And here you're on Dolly too. And then this is just a regular hall, but this was all big open space, and we can find it all.
Right.
And then,
I say the idea is they've moved from personal banking now to call center banking. So,
right.
I guess that 1999.
Yeah, and then didn't want to see the face of the computer, so I turned that a little bit. And then I think there was some flicker of light, but
I'm unable to verify your information at this time.
Did we, as each year, did we click off a light? Is that what we did to make it darker and less inviting?
Something like that. Yeah, we did definitely change. And I think, I forget what we did to them. Because, now in tubes, you can just, program in flicker and bad bulb and all that kind of stuff. Here, I don't think we had that option.
Yeah, we didn't have the rainbow tubes or anything.
No. They were probably just regular tubes.
I want to say we rigged the Kino with regular fluorescence. Does that sound right?
I think so, something like that. I think, or it's like a makeshift shop light or something. But I forget what we actually did. And this color looks a little funky on him too.
Yeah.
Let's see if it'll.
Just 4 or 5 questions to confirm your identity.
Here you're pulling out.
What is your favorite color?
One thing to note is the idea was as the time progressed, we're getting further away from him, like removing emotionally and then drawing into her and her frustration as she's jumbling papers and all that stuff. So
we're getting further away from the bank, but we're getting into her emotional state by pushing it.
Right.
And here she's in a nicer light as well. I mean, she's just in a nice kitchen. And this was like their kitchenette, so they really only had one wall of kitchen available.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think as we go in, we're kind of closing in, and cameras, maybe a little looser in the close-up, but it's nothing significant. They're all subtle changes.
And then I think we used the same set for an April Fool's bit.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Somewhere on the internet, they're licking a phone as though it was a ID for security purposes.
Was that for Pindrop as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah.
they ran it, I think, social media wise and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That was fun. Okay, so going ahead.
Hence, maiden name. What's your favorite sound?
So now we changed the light a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it looks like we're just pulling diffusion and then brought in a little cut on her face. Like I said, kind of closing in her world as she's more and more frustrated.
Yeah, and then took down the light in the background a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
What's your favorite sound? Have you ever been to Rhode Island?
And then this was that same location.
Yeah.
Just a sort of a startup-y kind of place, and
right.
But not Pindrop. It was a different company, right?
Right.
And then this was just looking out their front windows, and I think that was mostly. Well, we must have added a little bit to it.
Yeah, I don't know if we did too much on the wall. It may have been just a big key on him.
Yeah.
But it had that nice modern concrete wall, and then we gave him a big soft modern source.
Yeah.
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 Hey Janet, do you want to check your balances today?
Just need to make a quick transfer.
And then this was back at the first location on the first day, and it was about to rain.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the idea was that this would be sunny with all those bright colors looking really vibrant. And,
right.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, the cloud, in this instance, cloud cover was not what we were going for.
Yeah.
Because I think she was like backlit and it was really nice when we scouted. But,
of course,
you roll with what you get. So. Yeah.
All right, and then there are a couple other shots.
Of course, we can do that for you right away. Great.
Boom. And then she gets in this Tesla as though it's a self-driving Tesla.
Yes.
Because she's in the modern future. And then here we had like just a 12 by because we had two guys on the grip crew.
Yeah.
And maybe there's three. Yeah, I think we had a third swing. Anyway,
okay.
So we had a 12 by, and then we had a bounce, I think, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But we just barely covered it with the 12 by.
Yeah.
And it was starting to sprinkle.
Putting the 210 to full work.
That's right. Yeah.
Price sounds
so
good.
she gets in, and then we get a close up on her.
Verify
And that was just out in the parking lot with nothing.
Yeah, and then I think, if I remember right, Rob, the producer, is crouching down in the front of the car, and he just hits the gas.
It's self-driving.
Yeah, definitely.
We got an early model.
Yeah, but pretty fun.
22. Yeah. Anything else comes to mind?
No, Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to try to create the looks and the ages, and I think something like this, like you're so reliant on art department for this, and Danielle Woods should get the credit for that. She really
totally, yeah.
Like between wardrobe and just props and stuff, she did a great job, and then that makes our job a lot easier to try to do that.
And I remember we did have a scout because we looked at a lot of different locations for this. And we were hoping we'd get this one.
Right.
Because some of the other ones were pretty funky. How to get in, the load-in would have been weird, and we didn't have a lot of room. Here we had just gobs of room, so it was great.
Yep. Yeah, and I want to say like Santa Cruz, because this was a place in Santa Cruz, and I think the city had delayed the permit for construction on this, which is why we got in. So it was like we had a sweet little window where it worked out. So yeah.
No, it's nice when it all comes together.
Yeah,
that's just a quick overview, but kind of fun to look back in time.
Nice change of pace too, hunkering down.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right on. Thank you again, and hope to see you on another one.
Yeah. Thank you, Luke.
All right. Cheers. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. This is my second attempt at an online interview, and at the moment, I'm failing quite badly. What happened is the Camlink 4K, for some reason, stopped working once I updated my OS. So I ran the camera separate from the Zoom meeting, but I ran the audio of the Zoom meeting from the laptop to the little Zoom recorder there you see next to the laptop, and then that went into the camera. But I didn't check the Zoom specs well enough, and so that was always running behind. So when I edited it, I always had to, cut, paste, shift for 20 minutes. That was a 20-minute long piece. That's painful. You can see the iPad on the left there. That was running the monitor, not a super high-res monitor, but I think it worked pretty well. I did have a little skylight coming through with some sun, and so I had some tape on top of my webcam to block that. Humorous. There's Mr. Bill in the back. Next time, I've got a better plan, but the good news is the ATEM Mini Pro is ahead of schedule, and I think I might get it as early as next week. So that'll clear up a lot of issues.